elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian and Haitians, and the foreign Israelites that are scattered across the four corners of the earth that look like the other nations. I want to give all praises to Barak Yahawah, Barak Yahawashi, Barak Yahawah, Barak Yahawashi. I want to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who led me to this truth, who have been ordained by the Lord to teach the flock how to live, repent, pray, fast, and show forth the Lord's righteousness and mercy, judgment, forgiveness, and wrath to all those who are part of the elect, whomever they may be. Lord willing, we part of that number of us of the hopeful elect. Lord willing, this be edifying to those who fear in the name of the Lord and are striving to show forth the Lord's righteousness every day to the best of their abilities. His judgment always comes to light. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 5, and it's not slack. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. So, Lord willing, this edifying to the flock. Also, I want to thank you, Bahasham, Yahawashi, giving us another day to breathe and live and to come and exalt the name of Bahasham, Yahawashi. I meant to do this video earlier today, actually yesterday, but I was fellowshipping with my elder. You know, we were just kind of in the spirit going over things and kind of just, just exalting the name of Bahasham, Yahawashi, and it was good to be around like-minded believers. There's not really any out here in Oklahoma, from what we know so far. So Lord willing, more people are waking up that are in this area and are coming to the name of Bahasham, Yahawashi, and where else the elect may be. But these are some of the scripture, the topics the Lord put the Spirit on me to come and bring across today in my lot. So let's get started. I'm gonna get started with this first article. It says U.S. money supply failing at fastest rate since 1930s. I wanted to do this earlier, but we talked a lot. Stayed up late, talked a lot in the fellowship, and then I woke up and had to go to the plantation. I had to talk a little longer about things, and we were praying Bahasham, Yahawashi establishes for us over here, so we can kind of have a place to dwell together, so we can kind of have a headquarters here. So Lord willing, everything works out, and I have faith that the Lord will bring us together for a reason. And so I'm gonna continue in the faith, and whatever Bahasham, Yahawashi has in store, we're gonna accept that and we're gonna move along with it. So, like I said, we're gonna get into talking about the money supply. It's falling at its fastest rate since the first depression, basically. So this is by Jamie McGeever or something in Orlando, Florida. U.S. money supply is falling at its fastest rate since the 1930s. A red flag for the economy and financial markets. Money supply has now been shrinking year on year since December. An unprecedented Salakia development in modern times that will make investors sit up and take notice. Growth, asset prices, and inflation can all weaken. And, this is a man-made crash. They're doing it, of course, to be able to issue in the Qadash at some point and make it mandatory, because the Qadash is already out here and people are willingly taking it. But after they've got enough people who willingly take it, and everything else has passed to what the Lord wants it to, it will be made mandatory. So it's largely a consequence of reversal in liquidity generated by massive post-pandemic fiscal and monetary stimulus, and Federal Reserve shrinking its balance sheet via quantitative tightening, failing bank deposits, and weak demand for provision of credit. So we're going to filter in some scriptures about this, and you know, then we're going to pull up another article that's kind of tying into that, you know, and you know, these are some of the first two talks I talk about, you know, the money U.S. money supply is failing, and you know, the food stamp situation, and we got a lot of other various topics. So let me pull up Blue Letter. We're going to go to Psalms chapter 75, verse 10. And it reads, all the horns, which means power, horns mean power, of the wicked also will I cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be exalted. So this is him taking down the power of these carnal people, you know, the Edomites. He's taking out their power and he's giving ours back with this truth. So now we're going to do Leviticus chapter 26, verse 15, and we're going to read down. And it reads, and if ye shall despise my statutes, which is the commandments, the laws, which is the milk of the scriptures, the laws, or if your soul abhor my judgments, which means like strongly dislike, so that ye will not do all my commandments, you know, to the best of our abilities, because we're in our captivity, but that ye break my covenant, I will also do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and burning ag, and that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart, which is your mind. And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. And I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursueth you. This is basically what's going to happen to Jake, you know, 2/3. He knows who he's coming after for not obeying. And if ye will not yet for all this hearken unto me, because he's not going to just kill Jake, he's going to keep, you know, warning him with these kind of tactics, you know, threatening, basically saying, you better get right, Jake. And I will punish you 7 times more for your sins. And I will break the pride of your power, and I will make your heaven as iron, and your earth as brass. And your strength shall be spent in vain, for your land shall not yield her increase, neither shall the trees of the land yield her fruits. And if ye walk contrary unto me and will not hearken unto me, I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you according to your sins. I will also send wild beasts among you, which shall rob you of your children, and destroy your cattle, and make you few in number, and your highways shall be desolate. If ye will not be reformed by me by these things, but will walk contrary unto me, then I will also walk contrary unto you, and I will punish you yet 7 times more for your sin, which is basically completion. And I will bring a sword upon you, which is who? Esau Edom, that shall avenge the quarrel of my covenant. And when ye are gathered together within your cities, I will send a pestilence among you, and ye shall be delivered into the hand of the enemy. And this is what happened to Israel because we sinned against the Lord. But this is about to happen to Jacob again, okay, during Jacob's trouble. When I have broken the staff for your bread, 10 women shall take bread in one oven. And this is going to basically be everybody is going to be struggling at this time. And there's nobody going to make it out of Jacob's trouble easy, even the elect. But we're going to have a God, so we're not going to be afraid. It doesn't mean we're not going to struggle. We're not going to be afraid. But it said, when I have broken the staff of your bread, what's that? The money system. 10 women shall bake your bread in one oven, and they shall deliver you your bread again by weight. And ye shall eat and not be satisfied. And if ye will not do all this, hearken unto me, and walk contrary unto me, then I will walk contrary unto you also in fury, and I will chastise you 7 times more for your sins. This is talking to Jake, but it says in this time his servants will eat. We gotta have that faith. I was listening to one of the Akim, they was at camp, and they was talking about the Lord could literally just put the spirit on your body to be preserved and not even be hungry. You don't even know. He could do anything, He's the creator of the universe. But we gotta have faith that he's gonna, he said he's gonna take care of us. There's nothing for us to worry about. Everything else has came to pass. Why would you think that's not gonna come to pass? It's gonna come to pass. So this is Ezekiel 4:16. But if you don't do it, be in trouble. You need to make sure that you're making sure you're following the laws to the best of your abilities, and you're learning to the best of your abilities. You want to learn something new every day. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem, 2/3, and they shall eat bread by weight and with care. They shall drink water by measure and with astonishment, that they may want bread and water, and be astonished with one another, Salakia, and consume away for their iniquity. See, they're going to consume away. Jake is not going to make it without Yahawashi and Rawchaa. And everybody else is definitely not going to make it. They've been written to die at this time for what they did last time. So Ezekiel chapter 7 verse 19, they shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of wrath of the Lord. You know how they keep saying to switch over to gold and silver? It's not going to make no difference. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fear their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. That's Jake 2/3. Because the other nations, he's technically not even dealing with them. They're just around. Those are supposed to be our slaves. After this is over with. He's not even focused on them. He's angry with the wicked every day, but he's angry at Jake 2/3. And he's also angry at the rest of the wicked, but he's still not done using them to punish Jake. Once he's done punishing Jake, he's gonna punish them severely. So Isaiah 32:10. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless woman. For the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Tremble ye, women that are at ease, be troubled, ye careless ones, strip you, and make you bear and gird sackcloth upon your loins, and they shall lament for the teats, which is the women, the women that are on Medicare and child support and got, a bunch of food stamps and on Section 8. And it says, for the pleasant fields for the fruitful vine. Upon the land of my people shall come up thorns and briers, yea, upon all the houses of joy in the joyous city, because the palaces shall be forsaken. The multitude of the city shall be left. The forts and the towers shall be for dens forever. A joy of wild ashes, a pasture of flocks, until the Spirit be poured upon us from high, and the wilderness be a fruitful field, and the fruitful field be counted for a forest. Then judgment shall dwell in the wilderness, and righteousness remain in the fruitful field. And that's the elect. Lord wouldn't be part of that number. But the rest is going to die. A lot of people are going to die from famine. Many will die from famine. They say it's better to perish from the sword than from famine. But, we know that his servants are going to eat. And that's why, we keep telling Jake to repent. And if you're gonna say you love the Lord, you gotta prove it. You gotta go out to the highways and byways, and you gotta put your life on the line for Yahawashi. So Isaiah chapter 7, verse 23, and it shall come to pass in that day that every place shall be, if there were 1,000 vines at 1,000 silver links, it shall even be for briars and thorns. So that's a lot of precepts dealing with there's not going to be nothing left here. All we're going to have is Bahasham. We're not going to have nothing else to rely on. This place is about to go down. So now we got 1 in 4 could lose food stamps under a GOP bill. Which states would hit the hardest. So we're going to read about these states. So it's a shrink for millions. About 1 in 4 people are receiving food stamps, or about 10 million Americans could lose access to the food aid under a Republican proposal that would expand work requirements to adults over 50 years old. And some families with children, according to the new analysis of the bill, people in every state will be impacted if the proposal becomes law. It's lucky. I don't know why they got that doggone ad right there. Becomes law. Although residents of Alaska, South Carolina, and Oklahoma will be hardest hit. See, that's where I'm at. According to the study of the left-leaning Center of the Budget Policy Authorities, the analysis is based on the number of households in those states that will fall under the New York requirements, such as older adults and families with children over 7. So, there's going to be a lot of people that get affected, and that's coming down to, the ventures is going to fail. The ventures is failing. We're not having enough money to feed people, and they do have enough money to feed people, but they want to cause panic so people will take their seat. That's what they want. So now we're going to the next clip. It says train derails in Minnesota. A lot of Aki have been talking about it, and we always going to bring up these train derailments. There's been tons of them in the last couple of months, and another one of the Aki and one of the elders, he was talking about how one of the elders, GMS upon Precepts 3, he was talking about how they're doing this on purpose. So when it comes to something really bad happening, they're just going to be like, hey, it's just another, train derailment, it's whatever, they're trying to get people used to seeing this disasters across the planet, so when it does happen, they just, whatever. We've seen another one, and they, a lot of people overlook it, but people got to understand this is all part of their plan. Esau Edom's plan to enter in his seed. So we're going to watch a little bit of this, and then we're going to put in some precepts.
Now to this other developing story, a freight train derailment led to an evacuation of residents in a small Minnesota town about 100 miles west of Minneapolis. The BNSF train was hauling ethanol and corn syrup when it crashed and caught fire around 1 a.m. last night. Officials say there is no threat to the public, and residents were allowed to return to their homes late this morning. Also, no injuries were reported, and the NTSB has arrived on the scene to investigate.
We see how they say there's no threat. There's no, we're going to talk about that in a minute too, but there's no, it really don't really matter. It's going to lead to something else. It's not really Trump is really what the situation is. It's what's going to lead it to, it's going to cause, Salakia. What is going on? Come on now. It'll start freezing on me. Salakia. But it's gonna lead to some race. It's gonna lead to race riots. We're gonna deal with that in a minute. But we're gonna put in some precepts about these train derailments, because you got a lot of a lot of Jake. They still believe in plantation Christianity. They still believe that that Yahawashi, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ, they don't understand that he is the one who does evil. He forms the light and the darkness. He creates evil. Isaiah 45:7. But we're gonna read it over here in Amos chapter 3, verse 6. And it reads, "Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord have not done it? Surely the Lord Yahawah will do nothing, but he revealed his secret unto his servants, the prophets." So that's the only ones who are being revealed as truth, and a lot of people are not paying attention. And maybe it might be more people paying attention than we think, because, you saw Edom be shadow banning us. And, there's sometimes I got a like on a video and it said I had 0 people watching. You just never know who watches stuff, and who the Lord will bring the spirit upon. So, it says to prophesy in the wind. We do this even if nobody's around. This is our job, to warn Israel, whether they forbear or not, whether they bear or forbear. We're going to keep warning. So Ephesians chapter 5, verse 16 and 17. And it says, "See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise." When you look up that word circumspectly, look that up.
Strong's G 199. Akribos. Akribos.
It means exactly, accurately, diligently. So that's why we try to at least do, an exhortation every day. Exhortation is basically a warning. This is a warning. You got to repent and convert, and also a warning that, hey, this is what's going on right now. And what it's going to lead up to when we keep doing it. Show you the repetition of the Lord, that he's not slowing down. He's actually speeding it up. But see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. It says, "Be not drunk with wine," which is really talking about false doctrine, wherein is excess, but filled with the Spirit, speaking to yourselves in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melody in your mind, which is your heart, to the Lord Yahawashi, giving thanks always for all things unto Yahawah and to the Father in the name of our Lord Yahawashi Mashiach, But yeah, when it talks about being drunk with wine, it's being drunk with other doctrines, because it says that it's lawful to drink, but you have to do it with moderation. You can't be, it can't hinder you from whatever, the Lord has commanded you to do, which is going to the highways and byways, doing these lessons, studying, because it says that, it helps to an extent, but if you drink too much, it's bitterness to the mind, so you want to have a limit, but we are in hell, take your drink every now and then. It'll help calm your mind. It does for me. But we're gonna go right here, because it said that what the will of the Lord is the will of the Lord. He wants to destroy America, Babylon the Great, of course, but he also wants us to be doing this. John 21, verse 15. So when they had dined, Yahawashi saith to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these?" And saith unto them, "Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee." He saith unto them, "Feed my lambs." He said to him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, thou lovest me? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord. Bahasham, Yahawashi, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my sheep. He saith unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. Yahawashi saith unto him, Feed my sheep. And that's what he wants us to do. He wants us to keep feeding the flock on a daily basis. That's our job. You know, we're supposed to do it every day. You know, if we, and he understands our captivity. Some people, it's very difficult for them to do it, but, we want to try to follow that to the best of our abilities. We want to make sure the flock sees that we're diligent. We're doers and not just sayers. So Romans chapter 6, verse 23. Well, we're gonna pull something up first. We're gonna pull up this next slide I have. It says at least 31 dead. Rescuers search for missing passengers after fiery fire in the Philippines. It looks like a ship they caught on fire. At least 31 are dead after a fire broke out on a ferry. And I think that's what it said. Passengers after a ferry fire in the Philippines. And when you look up like the word ferry and stuff, like ferries go back to Anubis and false god worship, and they would pay the ferry to go to the underworld. Basically, that was like their whole belief. You know what I mean? And it was a wicked, and this is why this happened ultimately, because all these places are wicked. All their customs are wicked. These 31 people are dead after a fire broke out on a ferry in the southern Philippines and raged overnight for 8 hours. About 250 passengers and crew were aboard the boat Wednesday night when the blaze broke in the sea off Balut Island, said Governor Jim Hatman of the Southern Island Province in Bahasham. Salakia. Okay. Thought it went away for a second. So Bahasham rescues are still searching Thursday for at least 7 missing people. Many of them, were more than 200 people, survived, jumped off into the MV Lady Mary Joy 3, and were rescued from the Dark Sea by the Coast Guard, Navy, a nearby ferry, and local fishermen. So, we're going to do one more, and then we're going to tie in some scriptures that are dealing with, this kind of judgment. So this one happened actually 2 weeks ago, but the Lord put the Spirit on me to kind of bring it back up. It says 154 remains, 6 bodies recovered from California warehouse.
"54 cremated remains. That's how many deceased loved ones were found in this Hayward warehouse. Now the Alameda County Coroner's Bureau says they're working to reunite the remains with families in 15 different counties.
Some of the families paid to have their loved ones, their remains scattered at sea, and that clearly didn't happen in a lot of these cases.
The warehouse is linked to Ocean View cremations. The sheriff's office says the bizarre investigation started after several complaints from customers to the California Cemetery and Funeral Bureau. Yelp Reviews accused the company of waiting months to cremate bodies, holding ashes for years, and refusing to return customers' calls after taking their money. According to the Bureau, one customer allegedly got the wrong remains.
If they did business with Ocean View between 2013 and 2021, it's, it's likely we may have remains that belong to them.
Ocean View's business license was suspended in 2018 and again this past January. But according to the Alameda County Sheriff's Office, even when they were licensed, they were never allowed to store remains in their Hayward warehouse. The Coroner's Bureau seized all remains March 1st, but today we spoke to a customer who said he was still doing business with them.
I'm completely at a loss there. So it sounds like those are potentially new remains and that they're continuing to do business.
So far, 5 of the bodies have been identified. A 6th body has a tentative identification, but out of more than 150 other remains, the Coroner's Bureau has only been able to identify 6 family members. Ocean View did not answer the door at the warehouse today or our calls for comment. The state is investigating, however, it's unclear if the owner will face any criminal charges.
For the many families.
So, it just shows, America Babylon the Great is this is how they act. They act like they're professional businesses and professional. Look how they do people. It says their body shall not be lamented. These people don't care about everybody else dying. And, that's how we're gonna feel whenever it comes to the time, because we've been sitting here warning and telling everybody and changing to the best of our abilities and getting persecuted. By that time, you ain't figured it out, then it's gonna be almost like whatever, you just ashes now because you didn't want to listen. But it's just some precepts I'm gonna tie in, towards this situation. First, I want to do this first. Matthew, there's a precept I also wanted to put in. Matthew chapter 10, verse 28. It says, "And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which are able to soul, which is able to destroy both the soul and body in hell." See, the Lord's not destroying. This is the only place where soul and body are connected. So that's how you know this is hell. See, he's talking about here on earth, because your soul and your body isn't in. When you go to the spiritual realm, you're just your spirit's up there. So see, that's what I'm saying. They try to twist that. And even when you look up the word hell, it says nothing about nothing burning. We can look it up real fast just for, some of the new followers, that have never seen it.
Strong's G 1067. Gehenna.
See, this one says, this is a different one, but I try to say it's a place of future punishment called Gehenna, or Gehenna fire, which is originally the valley of see, it's a valley south of Jerusalem, where the 5th dead animals of the city were cast out and burned. But that's not really a good definition of hell, but it just kind of shows that they don't say nothing about no place where you go and burn forever, it basically says a symbol of the wicked and their future destruction from what? The intercontinental ballistic missiles. The blue letter goes off sometimes. Like, when it talked about Noah and the ark, it talked about 15 cubits was like 15 inches or 18 inches or something. And the ark was way bigger than 18 inches. Okay, they talked about he did about 15 cubits and some other stuff. This goes off sometimes. That's why you have to have the elders and apostles, and you have to, you have to study to show yourself approved. But you're not gonna just that's where you have to have faith. Like, they're going to show you stuff, and the only way you can be able to understand it is if the Lord put the Spirit on you to understand what they're really saying, you know? Because nowhere in the Bible it says so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American, West Indian, Haitians are the 12 tribes of Israel, but we know that's who they are. See? And that's the problem with Jake. Jake wanted to see something. He said, I'm going to send you the prophets. And if you can't see that, that's your ass, man. So, you know, that's how it goes. So I want to put in Romans 6:23. I want to get too far off topic, but you know, it's kind of a little bit what we're dealing with. So, and this reads, for the wages of sin is death, but the gift of Yahawah is eternal life through Yahawashi, Mashiach, our Lord Yahawashi. Romans 18 says this. Romans 8, verse 13. And it reads, for if ye live after the flesh, ye shall die. But if ye live through the Spirit, to mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live. For as many are led by the Spirit of Yahweh, they are the sons of Yahweh, which is Yahawah, you know, the sons of the living power. You know, you got to live by the Spirit. You got to be able to see in the Spirit and understand, you know, what is going on. The only way you can do that is leaning out of your own understanding and trusting in the men that he set up in his great millstone. And then he's going to open your mind up to it if you're called to understand. So now we're going to do this. We're going to actually read this first, and then we're going to go into the next article. First Corinthians. First Corinthians 15:51. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. So we're not going to know we're saved until the last, literally the last minute, last trump. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass. Then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written: death is swallowed up in victory. You know, and this is how we're starting that process is through the Spirit first. You know, you got to put on immortality in your mind first. Stop looking at everything physically. You know, there's things there's people on this earth that you wouldn't even believe that have the most beautiful souls, and you would never ever understand them or get to know them or get to like experience the love that the Lord has bestowed in that person. You know, if you was just looking at the physical attributes of that person, was looking at the physical gain that you would get off that person. And what I mean is, like, a lot of men, a lot of carnal men, I would say, because spiritual men don't do this, you know. But, you know, I'm not saying that we don't like beauty. Like, we like beauty, you know, in a woman, but that's not what's going to attract us to a woman. You know, it might be You know, we see a woman, she look good. That might be our first thought. Yeah, she look good. But then we're looking at the contents of that woman's abilities spiritually. Can she understand the doctrine? And also, can she be submissive? Can she understand that if she's submissive, then we're not going to oppress someone who's submissive to us. Like if I get a woman and she's submissive to me, I'm not going to oppress her. She's on my team. You see what I'm saying? You know, because it says, you know, if you get a wife, love her just love her, you know, as she loves you. You know, because she's also a part of the body. She's there to aid you, but she's also a part of the body. But it comes from the man first. But you know, a woman is a very vital, important part of the body of Hamashiach as well, because you know they're there to aid the man. They help keep, you know, they help keep us in ways that we can't do. That's why he gave us an aid. You know, it said it's not good for man to be alone. See, but we are in our captivity, so we understand that a lot of times, like I did that lesson at camp, it's necessary to be alone. But you know, if the Lord knows you need a woman, he's going to set one up for you. You know, and that's what I've been learning, you know, because I haven't been looking. And he set me up to where everything is working out in a way where all I got to do is stick with the faith, make my election sure. He's going to do the rest. You know, that's how much faith you got to have. Don't worry about nothing. You know, the Lord's going to eventually exalt you where you need to be. You know, he's going to eventually put you in a position where, you know, you have increased, you know, in many ways, you know, depending on, you know, what he had in store for you since the dawn of time. Lord, wouldn't be part of that number. So now we're going to watch this. It's talking about Warsaw closes all flights. 70,000 people are left without electricity in houses in Poland. There's people out here confused.
The city also has hit by severe hailstorm by Wednesday evening, leaving a trail of destruction.
So it lasted about 30 minutes. The storm so large, it shattered windows and damaged car buildings, emergency service, you know. But this is just to show how much the Lord is. He's bringing so much chaos around the earth, you know. He's saving America and Babylon the Great for last. You know, and everybody thinks this is something. This ain't nothing. We ain't seen nothing yet. Okay, this is just the Lord showing that he's here. Okay, like he's here in the presence. Like he's showing that, hey, I'm about to do something in the earth that's never been done before. Like, there's stuff going on. Like, there's a lot of floods. There's been a lot of floods. About every couple of days, there's a video about a flood somewhere on the earth. You know, or a tornado. It's something. There's this storm. Mathis has hit the United Kingdom. Look, them people falling over. Look at that. That's a big tree, man. Look at that. That's some heavy wind. You know, these talk about some whatever they did. That weird prayer hands, you know, whoever made this video. You know, I don't know who he is. But he ain't Yahawah from what I can see. Look at the stuff that he recording. Look at all this stuff falling, crashing. And just like the train derailments, they say there's no problem or nothing with it. But you got to understand there's a lot of petroleum, there's a lot of corn on there. That's a lot of resources that's been damaged. So now all that's just to go on the waste. And they're doing it on purpose, okay, to cause the famine. Because the Lord's making them do it. Because Israel don't want to repent. 2/3. Ooh, look at that. Wow. That dude barely got out of that. We're gonna keep moving on. France, this storm this morning, severe hailstorm hit this place too. It Metz. I think this might be it. No, it's a different place in France. You see, we in April. You know, this kind of stuff is going on every week. They were witnessing this dangerous weather. So we got that, more hail and rain. Now we got over here in Turkey, same thing. And there's a lot of people don't have no homes already because of the earthquake. Man, these people crazy standing out there, man. They on a boat. That's terrifying. That's just kind of showing some of the places that there's been a lot of damage. We're going to type in, we're going to put some scriptures. Ezekiel 14:21. And it reads, for thus saith the Lord God, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, how much more when I send my four sword judgments upon Jerusalem, the sword, and famine, and the noisome beast, and pestilence to cut off from it man and beast. Yet behold, there shall be left a remnant that shall be brought forth, which is the elect, Lord willing, be part of that number, both sons and daughters. Behold, they shall come forth unto you, and ye shall see their way and their doings. Ye shall be comforted concerning the evil that I have brought upon Jerusalem, even concerning all that I have brought upon it. Which is, going to be mainly women and children, that are coming because, that's not their job to be on the highways and byways. It's the man. We're supposed to be out there. The battlefield, the battlefield is not a place for a woman, and that's our battlefield out there. It's a spiritual battle. So Exodus chapter 7, verse 4, but Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you. Pharaoh today is a so-called white man. Okay? America, Babylon the Great, so-called white man. So Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that I may lay my hand on Egypt and bring forth mine armies, my people, the children of Israel, out of the land of Egypt by great judgments. That's what's coming to America, Babylon the great judgments on a mass scale. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, when I stretch forth my hand upon Egypt and bring out the children of Israel among them. And this is what's going to happen. It's going to happen again. He's going to deliver us out of Egypt again, just like he did last time. So now we got Israel draws red line with Biden. More people separating from America, Babylon the Great. I was listening to Akim, a lot of EU nations are now starting to turn on America, Babylon the Great, just like the elders and apostles said they would. They're starting to say they want to arrest Putin if they come over there. If he comes over there to their state, and that's them defying the U.S. You know, people are going to start going against this place. So top voices in Israeli government are criticizing President Joe Biden after he watered to an ongoing debate over a series of proposed reforms to the country's court system that opponents fear could reduce the independence of the country's judiciary, whom right-wing supporters, conservative President Benjamin Netanyahu have long accused of obstructing their favorite policy proposals. You know, and this is them showing that they're tired of America, Babylon the Great. They're tired of this place, and they want, you know, they don't want to do this anymore, man. They're done with this place. Everybody's done with this fucking place. We're definitely done with this place. We want to see this place destroyed, okay? Just like y'all did to Israel. Okay, but you're not going to come up after this shit. It's going to be game over. So Jeremiah chapter 51 verse 1. I'm going to read down a little bit. And it reads, thus saith the Lord Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind, and will send unto Babylon fanners, and shall fan her, and shall empty her land. For the day of trouble they shall be against her round about, talking about the other nations. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in Bridgendine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. These places gonna be destroyed. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, which is the Edomites, so-called white men, and all his people, and they that are thrust through in her streets. Israel, and he's talking 2/3 too, for Israel had not been forsaken, nor Judah, the so-called Negroes of his God Yahawah, of the Lord of hosts, Yahawashi, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel, which is Yahawashi. Flee out of the midst of Babylon. And this is talking about spiritually. You know, we're supposed to remain in our captivity until he comes and get us. You know? So flee us out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for it. It is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that have made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken her wine, talking about their doctrine. Wherefore the nations are mad, because they don't got no bread, because they tired of fucking being broke. They're pissed off. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take a balm for her pain. So if so, she may be healed. See, then it said we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. There's no fixing this place. Forsake her and let us go everyone to his own country, for her judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. And this is why the Lord has these other nations going over there. When we flee, like going back to this doctrine of Yahawah, that's how we flee. We go back to this doctrine. We don't fuck with none of their customs and that no more. So now we're going to read Revelations. Chapter 17. The doom of Babylon. And there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, between the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth having made drunk with her wine of her fornication. So he carried me away into the wilderness, and I saw a woman upon a scarlet-covered beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And that's America, Babylon the Great. You know, they had all the nations under submission unto them. You know, and the Lord's going to destroy this place. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold, precious stones, and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And when you look up the word queen, it basically means harlot. That's why, you know, we had princesses. We were princes, we were prince, men are princes, and the women are princesses. We didn't have no queens. And this place is like basically, you know, it's like a queen mentality, worship the queen, you know. And I saw the woman drunken with blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahawashi. And then I saw her, and I wondered with great admiration. And that's that's the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and also Western Indian Haitians. You know, all our blood has been spilled across the land over here. What they've done, you know, they're gonna have to pay. So, you know, this is the doom of Babylon. You know, I'm gonna read a little bit down, a little bit more. And the beast thou sawest was and is not, because it's going to be destroyed, and it also means and is not, because they say it's not here, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition, which means judgment, put to death. They that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. They behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. See, they say it's not here. They say this isn't America, Babylon the Great. This isn't where we're at. Once they figure it out, they're gonna be terrified. A lot of them already know. So we're just gonna, you know, tired this place. So now we got Elon Musk mourns the demise of America. Says the Russian war in Ukraine ends with no end on the horizon. Washington efforts to escalate Moscow appear to have led Russia-China alliance, which is a failure for U.S. diplomacy. He said he sent alerts from the start. He sent alerts from the start, hoping it would create a big debate. When he launched another attack, hoping that this time it would be a reaction. But now tired, it seems to throw in the towel and accept what he sees as a downfall, the end of an era. You know, it says in 2nd Esdras chapter 6, verse 9, Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of that fall of it. See, these heathens, they know their time is up. See, they know. He mourning. When does it say mourns? You know, he had to been watching Great Millstone. Okay, but these people don't say they mourn. Okay, that's straight out the scriptures, man. They putting all this stuff in the scriptures. But this is Jeremiah. Chapter 40, verse 3. No, chapter 50, verse 43. Lucky. All right. The king of Babylon have heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pains as a woman in travail. See, that's what they're doing right now. They're in travail. They're panicking. You know? They're panicking. It said, behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan to the habitation of the strong, but I will make them suddenly run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? who is like he, and who will appoint me the time, and who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord, which is great millstone, that he have taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out, which is uh Amalek, the first descendants of Esau, the small hats, the 1948ers, the Rothschilds, the ones who got all the money and all the resources. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them, and the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved from the intercontinental ballistic missiles, and the cry is heard among the nations. They're not going to be making no more money from America, Babylon the Great. That's why they're going to be crying. They're going to be in tears. They are already mourning, as we can see, because they know that prophecy is playing out. They know. And that's why he was talking about he was moving his whole car system to Mexico. They already trying to escape the wrath of the Lord. But the only ones that are standing boldly here is the Lord's, men. That's it. So Florida woman allegedly tried to hire other inmates to kill her family and state attorney. A woman incarcerated in Florida is accused of attempting to hire fellow inmates to kill her family members and an assistant state attorney, authorities said this week. So this is a couple scriptures that brought to mind, what's going to happen to some of the people that believe in Bahasham and Yahawashi. She tried to kill her own family. And this is kind of, what the elect are gonna deal with. Some of us hopeful elect are gonna deal with this. So it says Mark 13:12 says, now the brother shall betray the brother to death, and the father the son, and the children shall rise up against their parents and shall cause them to be put to death. And this is mainly talking about the spiritual parents of Great Millstone. Some of the brothers in Great Millstone is going to try to turn them in. And it says, ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. That's the second time it says that you shall endure to the end. So who these people talking about? They're going to get raptured up out of this. Who these people talking about? They already saved. They're hypocrites, man. They're hypocrites and liars. So Luke 21, verse 16. So this reads, and ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren. See, some of our own brothers gonna turn us in, because they don't want to stay with the truth. And kinsfolks and friends, and some of you, they shall cause to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but there shall not an hair on your head perish, and your patience possess ye your souls. So if this is something that happens to you, don't lose your faith. The Lord's gonna come for us one way or another, even through death. He's gonna come for us. This says she tried to, it didn't prosper. They're gonna try to kill a lot of the men of the Lord, and if it wasn't ordained by the Lord, it's not gonna happen. And the ones that are ordained to be put to death, they're going to be put to death by guillotine, which is Revelation chapter 20, verse 4. But they're going to come back with Yahawashi and Yahawashi, jacking shit up. So 9 service members dead after the Army Black Hawk helicopters crash in Kentucky. So, it's just kind of showing some judgment, and it's just showing that, these people don't know what they're doing. They weren't even doing no exercises. They just crashed into each other. know, Lord had them put the spirit on and fuck up like that. So now we're gonna go over here. It says Donald Trump indicted in New York and Stormy Daniels hush money scheme. And you know, a lot of people are talking about this or whatever. I try to say no one's above the law, whatever. Y'all not above the law. Yahawashi, because he's about to murk all y'all ass for what y'all did for Israel. You know what y'all did. And hold on real quick. Lord willing, my voice is working on this thing. Let me just double check because I want to be long into this video. I should have checked when I first started. I normally do. Let me check. Yep, cool. That's good. That means that it's working. Okay. So I wanted to just do a couple of things that this is going to bring out. This is going to start race riots. Okay, because there's a lot of Trump believers. You know, you thought the White House storm was a big deal. This is gonna cause some major situations, more than people know. So second address. You know, and I'm not into talking too much about. I don't really need to talk too much about Trump. I just want to talk about him getting arrested is what he wanted, and look what he got. And now it's going to be real race riots coming pretty soon. So second address. 1331. And it reads, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another. See, it's going to be basically, you know, everybody against Israel, but it's going to be race riots as well. And then one realm against another, which is Yahawashi versus these wicked nations. It's going to all pass. But this is going to cause race riots. You know, them arresting this man. They say he's supposed to get indicted on Tuesday. So now we're going to do second Ezra chapter 15, verse 15. And it reads, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. This is Luke. Well, we're gonna go to the next slide. I got a couple more, and then we're gonna close out. A new flu is spilling over from cows and people in the U.S. How worried should we be? You should be very worried. You know, not just about this, but just the fact that we're at the end and we need to convert, Jake. So, you know, this is just going to have a whole lot of things talking about it. I don't want to go too deep into it. It just says a new flu is spilling over from cows into people. You know, it says pigs and goats likely catch it too. It's been found in humans' noses in the Southwest and in the airports and chicken farms in Malaysia. That's where they've been finding it. So we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna put in a few scriptures. So new deadly super fungus can now be found in half of the U.S. So a fungal superbug called Cadidia auris is spreading rapidly through hospitals and nursing homes in the U.S. First case was identified in 2016. Since then, it has spread to half the country's 50 states. So it tripled between 2019 and 2021. So we're going to put in a couple precepts about that. And Luke 21:11. It reads, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines and pestilences and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. Then it says, then we're going to do Numbers. (14:12), and it reads, I will smite them with the pestilence and disinherit them, and I will make thee a greater nation and mightier than they. That's what he's doing right now. He's smiting them with pestilence. He's going to make us stronger than them in the end, you know, through his strength, not our own. So, you know, this is basically kind of going back to 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 22. We're going to pull it up real quick and then we'll read this and close out. It says, whosoever, it said, hold on. Yeah, let's just do that one. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 22. Suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which every man shall hear it, and they shall be suddenly afraid. And at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. The earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. Springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. So, you know, it's gonna be a lot of terror, and people should have been listening to Yahawashi and men. You ain't gonna feel sorry for your ass because we was fucking telling you every day, you know, without ceasing. Okay, you got somebody somewhere in the earth talking about Yahawashi every day, whether it's on this side of the earth or the other side. So the ones they doing the store closures in Indiana. South Bend, Indiana was shut down along with its pharmacy on the 21st. In Minnesota, I don't think it says that. It says like an actual day. And it says store closures in Hawaii and Washington. So, you know, these are some closures. And it's going to lead to more people panicking. So, you know, Lord willing, this is edifying. Shalom to elected Israel, to the hopeful elected Israel, the Hebrew Israelites. The water for tuning in, whoever come across. I know it's pretty late. I get off the plantation pretty late. And I have to be back to the plantation at noon tomorrow. So I have to do this so I can be able to go do camp today or tonight. So I can keep up with the Aki. You know. So Shalom to elected Israel, to the hopeful elected Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, the so-called Negroes, and Tunics, Native American, Western Haitians, and the foreign Israelites that scattered across the four corners of the earth. Gotta give all praises to Barak, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawashi, Barak, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawashi. Gotta give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. I give double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone led me to this truth and faith and sincerity. And Lord willing, this be edifying to the flock. Lord willing, this be edifying to those who fear in the name of the Lord and are striving to show forth the Lord's righteousness every day to the best of their abilities. His judgment always comes to light. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 5, and it's not slack. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. So, you know, Shalom, stay prayed up as, you know, we always must do, and stay in the faith, and Shalom to all the Akim, keep working hard. I've always try to share you, videos. You know, your videos are always very edifying, and Lord willing, we can wake up another day and worship Yahawah, Yahawashi. Shalom.